Along with the oft-repeated claim that the show paints Maya as basically perfect, many criticize her for being a famous musician while still in high school. Not many have said this, but enough for it to stick out in my mind whenever her music is brought up. It is notable that she was basically a cello prodigy from the beginning, and even in next class she could write a song like it was no big thing, except for in season 3, but we all know why that was. Even still, the Young Musicians program didn't think she was so great as to look past her drunk face range video. And her music videos weren't getting that many views. True, she got more views on Yes than I get on much of my work, but in the grand scheme of things, she's still very small peanuts. Hell, VJ was getting more than double her views on his cover video, and as Grace said,
he has 4 times as many subscribers as you.
Maya, the resident musical prodigy of Degrassi, was getting beat out by a kid who was known for being Baz's sidekick and having messed around with Tristan that one time. But all joking aside, for as big as her classmates make her sound, she still had a long way to go for true stardom. The co-op would have still been there even if it didn't go to Maya, as it was previously established that Degrassi sometimes works with local businesses to give students real-world learning experiences. That music producer did notice Maya because of her song Not Okay, but it's notable that he never formally set up a meeting or responded to her reply that she would be in New York the following week. It's very likely that he found it while browsing the Degrassi equivalent to YouTube recommendations on videos that he was already watching. Mr. Jax probably had a passing interest in her, thinking she could be a talent to keep an eye on, but not serious enough to develop himself. Her happening to be in New York at his office made him considering just giving her a try, but recall that he shot her out of the water, basically calling her music generic. And from that, he didn't even want to spend a second more on her as we see him trying to hurry out of the room. It was clear that his interest in her was fleeting. Compare this to the agent who picked up Craig. He was enthusiastic to develop Craig as a talent to the point of shipping him to Vancouver before he even finished high school. A pretty stark difference, but it makes sense why her classmates would still perceive her as a god amongst the high school band. Again, she is an accomplished cellist and a speedy quality songwriter. Hell, the fact that she can even compose listenable songs is notable. And because she puts herself out there, her peers take notice. I wouldn't be shocked if most of her viewers and subscribers are fellow Degrassi students. We all had those types in school. Those kids that we swore would be big or at least professionals in their craft one day, even if we didn't have the eye to notice if they were actually good in their art. The ones who felt like royalty because they were always a lead in the school theater and wowed the parents in talent shows. I know I saw fellow students like this. The celebrities of the school who it was sometimes hard to remember were just grinding away at mandatory academia like you because you were certain they were going places. From the student's perspective, it's hard to remember that they're people too, and their fame likely doesn't carry outside of your town or community because that's the extent of your world at that time. Only later might you come to recognize how small your slice of the earth truly is, but until then, the molehills are mountainous. I've experienced this trick of the mind myself. There was a girl in my high school who had a fantastic voice, was quite beautiful, and was often the lead cast member in our school plays. Even as a freshman, she had a secondary role in a production of Footloose. But shortly after graduation, I heard she moved to California to settle down, that she had had a kid and was embracing the domestic life. This shocked me as I was certain she was going to take Broadway by storm in a few years. I viewed shifting towards family life as squandering of her talents and all the promise she showed in school. But this was not sound thinking on my part, as she was still a person. Still a recent high school grad who, while accomplished in the world of high school theater, might not have been able to do as well professionally, or even wanted to try for that matter. It's a bit humbling to recognize how much of a bubble we live in growing up, and that this isolation can exist throughout our lives. I know I experience this constantly. If me from 2016 were to look at my view and subscriber counts now, she'd be in awe. She'd feel like I'm succeeding as a video maker and that I could call myself popular. But me in 2019 knows that she only feels this way because she's struggling to get even 20 views at the moment. Consistently getting about 100 views is an accomplishment, but not big enough to say that I've made it, and there's a bit of humbling anxiety to it. In Degrassi circles, in the back of my mind, I want to feel like people would know me for my work. But then I realized that 1, there are more Degrassi fans out there than who would discover me through the subreddit or YouTube, and 2, I'm not even among the biggest voices in the Degrassi community. As my subscriber count increases, my views stay about the same. I'm even noticing channels younger than mine garnering far more views than many of my videos combined. Future NotAVampyre here. As I was trying to find examples of younger yet more successful creators, I noticed something kind of troubling about my logic here. Really, it's that the people that come to mind aren't comparable to what I've been doing. I've not been taking the same approach that they have while technically making the same kinds of videos. In all honesty, I can't compare them to what I've been doing, which highlights a major flaw in my thinking and underlines my willingness to beat myself up over nothing. So yeah, there's that. I start to wonder if my few successes were flukes and what I have to offer is simply not good enough. Not enough to get people to click on my videos or be interested enough to see more. Not enough to differentiate myself from the horde of other people like me making the same kind of content. Not enough for the algorithm to favor me with its glance.
Look at me, miss, oh look at me, please. Oh, favor me with your glance.
Just not enough. I'm Maya in that producer's office being told that I had one breakthrough, but still as generic and bland as white bread. But then I have a moment like Peter telling Maya that she's doing all the right stuff, even though VJ was currently more successful. My work is improving over time. I'm making progress to be the analyst I started out dreaming to be, and less of the talking in circles girl that I was before. I'm learning how to market my work on YouTube and slowly starting to play the game of being a content creator. I've got a long way to go yet, but like Maya, the best path is to just work on my craft and make use of my strengths, like how VJ used his fun aura to make up for his lack of vocal ability. This whole aspect of Maya as a person is probably one of the most relatable parts of her for me. I see myself a lot in her as she asks Peter why VJ has less going for him, but was beating her in her field of expertise. I'm sure I'm always going to be looking towards more successful channels and people, even if, hoping and praying, my channel continues to grow. But even though I'm only essentially high school famous right now, like Maya, I need to recognize that even being a big peanut in a small jar is a huge step towards cracking the lid to the outside. Don't trust YouTube to help you keep track of when I put things out. It really doesn't care to push things that the algorithm says aren't interesting. So instead, use this Discord invite link. There you'll have access to my content stream, be able to talk to me in my NotAVampyre crypt. Thank you very much for consuming this video, and until next time.